We got Grant Arthur over here from Grant's Rock Warehouse. Welcome, Grant, to the High Epic
Hey,
Times.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, actually, one of the reasons why I thought you would be a great person to collabo on this tier list for XTC is because you have that that XTC poster.
Because of my poster.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
I'm
he must
basing
really
it all
like.
on your poster.
Yeah. He must really like XTC. All right, let's start from the very beginning. Album 1, White Music, 1977,
Okay, White Music.
or is it 78?
78, I believe.
It's 1978.
Okay.
Debut XTC album. You know, it's new wave, it's post-punk, it's herky-jerky. You know, a lot of people think if you heard Oingo Boingo, this sounds kind of similar.
Yeah.
Before I start to rank, I want to clarify something.
Yeah, clarify away.
There is no bad XTC. There is just personal preference. XTC's never put out a bad record. If you can name one band that's never put out a bad album, you can name XTC as one of those bands.
I would agree
A
with that.
perfect band, absolutely on a different level. They might not be for everybody.
Right.
Even though I may rank these albums lower, that does not mean I don't like them. And if you ask me again in a week, I may rank it somewhere else.
Right.
Now, probably my top 5 are pretty set in stone. So I just wanted to say that before.
No, I agree.
I like
with
the
that.
disclaimer.
Yeah, that's a great disclaimer.
Because, you know, I don't want people to go, oh, Grant, oh, you're out of your mind. No, I like all these records. I have no problem with them. So
That makes a lot
Right.
of sense. Okay, yeah.
So what is the bottom tier?
Well, you're not going to give anything F, so in this case, it's
No.
just S, A, B, C, and D. D being
Okay.
like a 50 to a 60 at a
Right.
100 or something like that.
All right. Well, I listed this. If I was ranking it out of the 12 albums we're talking about,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with White Music as number 11. This is not, XTC for me didn't start out until Dave got in the band. When they got his guitar playing, you know,
Mm.
that's when XTC really took off for me.
Is it Dave
So-
Gregory?
Dave Gregory, as a guitar player, absolutely stunning. So he's not on the first 2 records, and I don't think XTC really arrived them. So White Music, I would list as D if we're ranking them like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
Just
just-
shred.
Go through it.
I mean, I can use all the colors because if they're there, I got to put them somewhere. All right, so the next one I'm going to put into the same category. I'm going to go with Go To. It's also from 1978. This sounds like a little bit more of a rushed album to me.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't have Dave Gregory here. Some people rank this higher. The bonus track, the non-album single, they added this to the reissue. I think it's like the best track on it. Are You Receiving Me? Go To is, if I'm ranking these from 12, this would be my number 12 album. White Music would be number 11. But after that, and again, I don't think that these are bad records. I
Right.
just don't, they're just not XTC for me.
Got it. Yeah.
I mean, I could go into it, but I guess I can just keep this moving, and that's where we'll go. Drums and Wires is going to be the next record. This is where XTC arrives. Every track on here is absolutely freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
Making Plans for Nigel, Helicopter, When You're Near Me, Complicated Game. Some people rank this as number 1. This has got Steve Lillywhite production. Steve Lillywhite was like their George Martin during this period. This is just absolutely probably one of their finest albums, and it's amazing how you can go from Go To Drums and Wires. Absolutely brilliant. 1979, just after a year.
Yeah. Huge
This
leap.
I would put in, this would be S for
S
me.
tier. Yeah, it sounds like an S tier for you.
100%, but it's the breakthrough album.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still got that new wave kind of prog. Oh, Grant. It's got that, still has that new wave post-punk kind of feel to it, but it's just like they're advancing so much, and the songwriting's even better, you know? And I think that might have something to do with Steve Lillywhite being in there operating the boards and producing the record. He seemed to know exactly what to do with them.
Right.
All right. So there you go. That would be another S. I'm going to have 4 of them in the S's, I think. The next one we're going to go with Black Sea. That's the next album, 1980. Again, Steve Lillywhite. And XTC is just getting better as far as I'm concerned. Respectable Street, Generals and Majors, Living Through Another Cuba. Oh, damn, this is a good record. The production's great. Terry Chambers' drums sound absolutely wonderful. I love the Steve Lillywhite production. I like what Steve brought to Marshall Crenshaw. I love what he brought to U2. There's just something snappy about this. And I don't think XTC sounded any better than they did with Steve Lillywhite. So
Very interesting.
I think top-notch stuff.
He's a
This
great
is-
producer.
Yeah. All right.
So
So,
Black Sea, you would put probably S tier, right? Sounds like
oh, 100%.
100%, right?
100%.
Now,
S tier.
would you put it above Drums and Wires or below?
Yes.
Okay. So
Above.
so far it's
They're getting better as they go. This
got
is
it.
kind of how XTC goes to a certain degree. I think they jump by leaps and bounds, and I think this is just this. Anything in S you want to start out with for me. If you're going to get into this band, and on my channel it's all about getting people turned on to stuff. This I would say these two definitely well, you've got to have these records. All right. So, what did we just do? We just did
Now we're on to
Sea.
Mummer.
we're on now we're on to Big Express. It's English Settlement.
Oh yeah.
All
English
right,
Settlement.
English Settlement
That's right.
1982.
Yeah.
A lot of people think this is the greatest album. Hey, I think it's just dandy. If I'm ranking these from 1 to out of 12, this would be my number 5. Key tracks, I think Senses Working Overtime is brilliant. Runaways, Yacht Dance, Down in the Cockpit, No Thugs in Our House. The hits just keep on coming, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I love this record,
Mhm.
but I always go to Black Sea or Drums and Wires over this. Now, why do I do that? I don't know, but I do. Production's great. Maybe because it's such a long record. When this got originally released in the States, they cut it down to a single album.
Really? That's
Yeah.
sacrilegious.
Well, that's what they did. And if you get the original CD of it, the original Virgin CD, I do believe, was reissued without all the tracks. Because back in the old days
Wow.
when CDs came out,
Yeah.
they couldn't fit everything on there. And they didn't want to put this as a 2 CD set. But as technology,
Advanced.
increased,
Yeah.
they were able to get everything on the Geffen CD. So Geffen was like the first time it ever came out with the whole album on CD. So
Did they have to reorder anything for the US version?
I don't think so. I think it's just straight UK, just like the UK album. And I don't think they edited anything, but it's a long record. 1982. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I rate it lower but there's still not anything on here that's weak.
So I'm feeling from you A tier? Or maybe no, S tier.
I'm
Maybe
gonna go-
third
I
best
would
in
go
S tier.
A because I've got 2 others. No, go A.
Go A? Okay.
hmm
Beautiful.
It's great. Different day, maybe I'll rank it higher.
Yeah. Okay, now we have Mummer.
Okay, 1983. I love this record. A lot of people think that they were kind of losing some steam. I don't think so. This is just much more of an acoustic, low-key album.
Yeah.
Though so there's some great tracks on here. Great Fire, Kicks, Funk Papa Roll's great. Lady Bird's a beautiful song. A lot of people rank this like middle tier. I rank this right behind English Settlement. So I like it. I love the production. We get Terry Chambers on a couple of tracks because this is the album that he left on. This is the album in which XTC decided they weren't going to tour anymore
Yeah.
and become a studio band. So Terry Chambers out the door. I would let me see those tiers. I can't see them. Put it more in the middle of the screen.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it in. We might have to switch these around.
Yeah, we
Just
can
put
do
it
that.
in A for right now.
Yeah, no
until I
problem.
can get through it.
Yeah, but by the time you're done the list, we'll look at it again and make sure you're 100% with it.
Yeah, because right, I get you.
Yeah.
I love the record. Like I said, there's no weak XTC albums. All right. Moomer. Let's see. Now we are on.
Oh, is that how you say it? It's pronounced Moomer?
Moomer.
Oh, okay.
Mummer.
Got it.
All
Okay,
right,
we got the
so-
Big Express.
Big Express. I like the Big Express. I think I would put that in the next tier. Everyday Story with Small Towns Wonderful. Train Running Low on Soul Coal. Wake Up. Shake Your Donkey Up. I think might be my favorite track on the record. It gets ranked lower for some reason. I don't know. Todd Rundgren, when he was getting ready to produce Skylarking, thought that a lot of these albums, once they started turning in more of a studio band, Andy Partridge, yeah, they have producers, but Andy Partridge, let's be honest, is probably running the show in the studio. and he would like to take everything and fill up all the spaces.
Right.
So I think these albums are fine. Yeah, maybe they could be opened up a little bit. Maybe there's a lot going on these records. I could see Todd's critique of it, but I still like these records because they're still, the songwriting's there. The records still sound great. Let's be honest. Production's good. Colin Moulding's songs are great. I have no problem with this record. I could rank it higher on another day. But today, I think we're going to go, looking at it, I guess, what's after, I guess put it at B.
B? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, B today.
B plus. There we go.
B plus. Okay, Big Express. And then after that, we go to, well, we go to
Skylarking.
Skylarking. Okay. Skylarking is the masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. That goes into A. Dear God's absolutely brilliant, man who sold his soul. God damn, that's great. Earn Enough for Us. That's really super. Supergirl's great. This is,
And apparently,
for Todd.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say apparently Andy and Todd didn't get along during this
Well,
recording.
don't forget that Todd, Andy's used to running the show.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Todd Rundgren as a producer, Todd's running the show.
Yeah, and Todd we trust.
And Todd we trust.
Exactly. So there's a little bit of conflict, but XTC, or at least Andy Partridge, used to just bitch about this record. He'd be in an interview and say it was the worst album they ever did, just because he couldn't get his way. But Todd, this record has perfect sequencing. It doesn't sound like a typical Todd Rundgren production. If you listen to Todd Rundgren productions, you can always tell it's Todd. Well, this not necessarily. But the string section, whether it's real or Fairlight or whatever what Todd was using, it's absolutely a wonderful album. Prairie Prince's drums on here are great. The band sounds good. You get most of this. You get like 50-50 tracks from Colin and Andy.
Right.
Todd just looked at all the tracks and went, well, these songs are great. We're using all these. And usually,
didn't he order it?
Songs.
Didn't Todd order it for them? Like he received the demos and then he's like, all right, this is how I want the album to be presented, like in this order to represent the theme.
He made a song cycle out of it.
There you go, song cycle, yeah.
Yeah, I think you could call this a concept album because it's all about the seasons. But I think it's absolutely brilliant. Todd knew exactly what to do with them.
So are you feeling high A tier or S tier?
No, it's 100% S.
S tier at the top.
Oh my God!
Top of the ticket.
Oh my God! Sure.
Okay.
Well, if that's where we're going to look at it, sure. But all these that I'm ranking in S, you have to have.
I want my future partner or my current partner or any partner I have to refer to me with the same love, admiration, and reverence that you have for these XTC albums.
Well, for Skylarking in particular.
I really have a trouble ranking them because I really don't. It's like they're like your kids. You don't want to.
Yeah, it's Sophie's choice.
But if you're
that's why I'm saying all of them, because even on her worst day, even on the objectively worst XTC album, he still sees the beauty. He's like, no. Still the woman I fell in love with.
Of course. But like I said, those first two albums, there's nothing wrong with them if you're into post-punk or new wave and stuff. But I just don't. I think once Dave was in the band, that's when it really started to take off, But, everybody.
I think
I'm
Dave.
just interested to see what other people say.
I'm curious if Dave contributed to the string arrangements for Skylarking.
Yeah, he did a lot of arranging on here.
Right.
And all the keyboards on here, Dave played.
Oh, what a talented trio of people. Plus Todd, of course.
Of course. But, Todd did vocals. Todd knew exactly what to do with them. But I think, Andy's probably come around now. And the other thing I want to add, that whole thing where they were saying that they reissued it and there was like a polarity issue with the CD release.
I don't know anything. Please educate us.
Well, that's what Andy Partridge said, that they reissued it. But I don't think maybe there was, but I've never heard anything weird about it.
I read something about a reissue of this album in the States because Dear God was such a big hit, they had to recall all the records to put the song back on.
If there's a polarity issue, that's when it happened, is when they reissued it.
Oh.
That's what I think. But people probably don't know, though. Yeah, when it originally was released here, it came out on vinyl.
No clue.
and Dear God wasn't on it because
Right.
Todd wanted to put it on the album, but Andy thought, "Ugh." But don't forget, this is the album where Virgin gave them an ultimatum. Either you give us a hit, or you're out of here.
Right. Right.
This was this album. This is REO Speedwagon's High Infidelity album. This is the album, give them an ultimatum. If you don't do it, you're out of here.
Right.
So that's what Skylarking was. So they stepped up to the plate. So
Just
kind of thing.
a quick little aside. Have you ever listened to the Pursuit of Happiness album?
Sure.
That Todd produced? Love Junk?
Both of them. The first two he produced.
Oh, he produced the first. Okay. I just really like that record. Even though there's a little too many guitar solos on it for me, I still really love like I'm an Adult Now, and like you, to your point, it doesn't sound anything like this record, or for that matter,
it sounds
Bat
more
from
like
Hell, or
the Pursuit of Happiness sounds more like a Utopia album to me.
Oh, interesting. I never connected that, but that makes a lot of sense. I could see that. I could see that.
Kind of more in that line.
But, yeah, like fusion.
You're talking Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next album is Oranges and Lemons.
Okay. Now we're starting to get really slick. And this is where I'm going, yeah, the songs are here. But man, it's like we're getting more and more commercial. Mayor Simpleton, top notch. King for a Day's top notch. Scarecrow. Oh, this is a great record. But it's got a lot of great pop hooks. But this is where I keep thinking they're still trying to get that hit.
Yeah.
Where I think on the other albums, I never felt like they were really trying to go out of their way to get like a hit on something. And it's just after, Skylarking and when the label gave them an ultimatum, I think it kind of changed their trajectory. Their mental outlook. I don't know if anybody else hears that. Every time I talk to people about Oranges and Lemons, they think it's absolutely brilliant.
Right.
I don't think it's as brilliant as Skylarking.
It's not.
I think it's not.
Yeah.
It's another long record.
Yeah, it's very long.
But it's getting pretty slick, kids, if that's what you lot.
It's starting to get fussy is the word I like to use for it. Fussy, right?
But no weak songs on it. I want to say that. I like this album. I love this record, but if you're making me rank the damn things, okay. And if I have to be critical, I'm going to say it's a good record. It's a long record, came out on vinyl here in the States and there's a 2-record set. I would probably rate this. Put it at C for now until I can see everything.
Got it.
Well, it's okay, but it's pretty slick.
Yeah.
It does sound like the album that would come up after Skylarking.
It does.
But
also,
God, I wish Todd had another crack at him. I do wish that would have been the case.
Right. I'm sure you've heard this before, but when I was listening to Oranges and Lemons among all the other records, I kind of felt like King for a Day was a blatant, hey, let's do Everybody Wants to Rule the World, but our version.
We're in that era.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Kind of. We're in '89, so we're more Seeds of Love, but
right. Yeah, King for the Day, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, the time signature, the pedal on the bass, and then it just every the structure, the lyrical themes. It to me it seems, although you're right, it's a great song and it's definitely a good choice for a single. It seems like maybe they're seeding a little bit of their personal identity in lieu of could be. You know what I mean? Try to get.
But I think we see more of that on the records coming up. But I will say, Mayor Simpleton. Pop greatness.
Yeah.
Collins bass line on that, just the chord progressions. The production on that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, the production really doesn't bother me too much.
Right.
I just thought that when they're getting to like 89, things are getting pretty slick. And I'd much rather have like a Steve Lillywhite type of production. I'd love to hear what this album would have sounded like had Todd got a hold of it, or like a Steve Lillywhite.
Right.
So what was this? Fox? Oh, what was the producer? Paul Fox produced this. I mean, Paul Fox did fine, all right.
Right.
But they kept going to like different producers, like every record,
And it seems like they went through a lot of drummers too.
Well, once they never hired back anybody after Terry left, and they just used studio drummers.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
They never replaced him. They just are a three-piece now.
And
Right.
that kind of leads to their next record, which is Nonsuch, which is totally slick.
Yeah.
It's so slick you could.
It's too slippery to hold.
It's too slippery. It's
All right. I'm gonna put that at C. Not it's one. If I'm ranking these albums out of 12, like in a normal ranking, like we do,
Yeah.
we do on our other channels,
Yeah.
I would rank that at number 10 out of 12. Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead, of course, we know that's about RFK. Great. Disappointed's great. There are some wonderful records, but don't forget, this is the last album on Virgin. They're just going big guns. They're trying to get a hit on here, and this is a pretty slick record. I mean, it's commercial. And for me, it's a little bit too commercial for me for my XTC tastes.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
But some people rank this higher, some people rank this lower. This is my least favorite of the Virgin albums. I never really return to it. But when I play it, I'm going, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. But there are records I like better. So it is where it lands.
I find I do agree with most of what you're saying. I like the album. It is too slick, but I don't really like it when he busts out the harmonica.
You don't like harmonica?
No, I
No.
don't think
Like you sound like Pete Pardo on Sea of Tranquility. He doesn't like harmonica either.
Pete doesn't like harmonica. Yeah, I rarely like harmonica.
I like that you were very like sweet about it. And, yeah, you're like you like him. You were like you didn't want to outright say no, I don't like harmonica. You said it's like when somebody says, "Do you want like onions on your burger?" And you're like, I wouldn't prefer it, but if it's already on there, I'll just scoot them off.
I'll eat it anyway.
And I'm like, no, I don't like harmonica. I don't.
It's just whenever this band goes into Blues Traveler territory, I'm out.
Blues Traveler. I don't hear any Blues Traveler on here. Oh my God. I don't think I've ever been on a show where anybody mentioned Blues Traveler. Good Lord Almighty.
I'm going to mention, once we get into ours, I'm going to mention some other things that might blow your mind, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, maybe. I don't know. I probably heard it all before.
Yeah, you might have.
You might.
Okay, so 2 more records, eh?
God, is that where we're at already?
Yeah, Volume 1, Volume 2.
My goodness.
They only have 12 albums, other than the Dukes, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm zipping right through it. Sorry if it sounds like but you
No,
had
this
me
is great.
talking
No,
about them
you're
at
good.
once. Okay. All right, this can go up in S. Apple's Venus Volume 1, absolute
I wasn't
a
expecting that.
masterpiece.
Okay.
You're talking a record that should follow up Skylarking. Here it is. Lush strings, excellent songwriting. Dave Gregory, this is when he threw in the towel and left, but I think Easter Theater is absolutely beautiful. Your Dictionary, absolutely brilliant lyrics. If you want to hear Get a Divorce, play Your Dictionary, ladies and gentlemen. Green Man's great. Some people rate this lower. I don't hear it. I heard this and I went, oh my God, it's like the heavens parted, the seas parted. I said, this is absolutely brilliant. My son heard this with me and he thought it was absolutely brilliant.
I guess Colin didn't agree.
Brilliant.
Didn't he leave the band during this recording?
No, Dave Gregory
Oh,
did.
sorry, Dave Gregory did. Yeah.
But that's all right. It was fine. He was just doing a lot of string arrangements and stuff. But it's got real strings on it.
Yeah.
And, I understand that Andy Partridge kind of went crazy on here and was spending money and it kind of got out of hand. But, man, that break, I think, did them really – it got them a chance to write songs. And I just think anything on here measures up with anything that they've done. If anything, this is probably a good record that would fit in between. This is kind of like if you take Moomer and combine it with Skylarking to some degree, because there's a lot of acoustic on here. But man, Andy Partridge sounds great. The Colin Moulding songs on here are wonderful. I hear it as I hear it. This is an S record for me, but it's as good as anything else they'd ever done. This is why I always say that XTC, they actually got better as they went along. I kind of think that. even though maybe you don't like everything.
Right.
But
they get more
goodness
mature.
gracious, but think about this. A band that came out during post-punk could put out a brilliant album as this Apple Venus Volume 1 is at this late stage in their career. Goodness gracious. Even as late stage in their career, and they're doing non-such. Depends on how you look at it.
Right.
Their songwriting never faltered, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing I can't criticize them for. The songwriting is always on point.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm with you for the most part. It's usually like the production that...
Production on here is wonderful, though. It's not dated. You don't have any... Well, it's 1999.
Yeah, it sounds
God
good.
help us. We should have gotten out of that god-awful 80s production by now.
Right.
You know? Because it just depends. That's a whole other show, though.
Yeah, I guess Non-Such has very early 90s, late 80s drum sound with that gated reverb.
There you go.
You know?
Well, not a big fan. But this doesn't. This just sounds like, a lot of this was recorded at Abbey Road, with the big orchestra sections. It's absolutely it's Andy Partridge's finest work. All right. So Apple Venus Volume 2.
The rock side.
But, I listened to this, and it does, to me, where's my notes at?
I already know where you're going to put it.
Yeah, I
can already feel it.
I gotta see where I put it. Where did it? Oh, okay. Wasp. Okay. Jesus, Grant. Scrolling is a lot of work. All right. So Wasp Star, Apple Venus Volume 2.
Yeah.
As we know, this was all recorded at the same time, though you couldn't tell it. And I think it was brilliant that they took all the orchestral tracks and put them on a separate album. Because I look at this as a totally separate record. This is like older XTC.
Mm-hmm.
Playground's a great track. Wounded Horse is great. I don't find this near as good as Apple Venus because, for one, think about it. They're going to put all the great stuff on Apple Venus before they're going to put anything on Wasp Star. I think it's fine. I don't think it's I'd listen to this more than I listen to Non-Such. I don't really have a problem with the production or the songs or anything. But when I do listen to it, I don't think that this so much is a cohesive album as opposed to just a collection of songs. Right. That's how I look at it. Where a lot of these records, I can look at it and like Big Express, all those songs seem to belong together. Wasp Star just seems like, all right, let's take all the tracks, the rest of our tracks, and put them together.
Right. A hodgepodge.
So there's nothing weak. It's a hodgepodge.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the artwork's all that great. So I think it sounds fine. Where would I put this in the...
Sounds like you like it better than Non-Such.
I would probably put it... Oh, I do like it a lot better than Non-Such. Put it in B, I guess.
Oh, okay. Below
the
big...
no, put it... We're going to have to rearrange because something looks wrong.
Let's rearrange whatever you'd like.
So, all right. S is 100%. A, English Settlement, Moomer. I think I would probably... You know what? I think I'm going to put Oranges and Lemons up at A.
At A?
Put that up there. Yeah, because I do like it.
Okay.
But... And it's got great songs on it, so I don't want it. It's as good as those three. No, put it back where it was.
Back to C.
Put it back to C.
No, wow.
Top of C. Or bottom
top
of
C.
B. Okay.
Bottom of B. Bottom of
B. Okay.
The higher they climb, the harder they fall.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be happy with what I'm presenting.
There you go.
Wasp Star, yes. Yes, I'm happy with that.
Yay. So where would you put the two Dukes records in all this?
I'll just for the hell of it.
Yeah, for the hell of it.
Put that back on the... There you go. I got to see it. I would put them... I don't think they're mandatory, but I think that they're well worth getting for the production of the song. Put them at... Put
B?
the Duke... Yeah, put them at B. What the hell? I really like those records. They fit right in there with Oranges and Lemons and Skylarking. They fit right in there.
Would you say you're satisfied with this tier ranking?
I'm satisfied with,
wow. Yes. Okay, so white music. Here's my contrarian tier list. I'm going to put this B tier. I actually like this one. I mentioned how I use the term that I like from Martin Popoff, which is Southside Johnny. And I find that this music is very Southside Johnny in a way that I kind of find charming. I don't know. Go to, I actually really like it. I would put it high B tier, except for the song The Weapon, which I can't tell. Is that a song about beating up your wife, or is it a metaphor for his penis? Do you have any opinion on that?
Sure isn't it about his penis? All these guys are writing about their penis. Good Lord. I don't know. I really don't know.
But the note I wrote down is Proto Cake, the band Cake, and Proto Sublime.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then we got Drums and Wires, which I love, and I would put that at the top of A tier. This is a huge improvement. We got Colin's first hit in Nigel, and I got this great quote that I wanted to pull up from Andy. He said, "I was incredibly jealous that everything Colin did was getting all the attention. He was the handsome sod and I was the egghead," which is funny because he literally has an egg-shaped head, but that's not what he means. You know, he means he's a dork.
Right.
You could see Virgin's reasoning. He looked like a cross between Chrissy Hine and Nureyev. Do you know who that is?
Peter Nureyev?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
And yeah, I know what you're talking about, but
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I've never seen that quote, but I get it. Well, don't forget, Colin's the only one that was really the only one that was getting any hits.
Yeah, it's fascinating. You know? Yeah, and like he said, he's got the look for the time.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna be super contrarian on Black Sea.
Okay.
I like it a lot. I just, for me at least, I don't find there's any standout tracks, and I actually find the drum sound to be too roomy for my tastes. I like a drier drum sound.
That's Steve Lillywhite. So you don't like Steve Lillywhite?
I guess.
I mean, does War drive you crazy? U2 War?
No, I love that album. I would give that a 5 out of 5. I don't know. Maybe that album isn't as roomy. No, and I guess it is a kind of roomy sound. I don't know what it is.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We all like what we like. No big deal. It's all good.
Yeah, man.
See, this just goes to show me, because look where you put white music and go to.
Right?
There's no bad U2. I mean, U2. I mean, no bad XTC.
Yeah.
Damn it, I've got myself on U2 kick.
There's a lot of bad U2, I would argue.
We did a U2 ranking a couple years ago. Some of that later career stuff's actually pretty good, though I would never go back and listen to it.
Nah. The U2 2K2 is what I call that stuff.
I think War, just to go on a tangent, War is my favorite U2 album.
Me as well.
And that's all I need.
Hey, we agree on that.
That's all I need, is just that.
Yeah, I think War is their best album. Joshua Tree,
too.
number 2. Then after that, I don't even have it. I don't really know. Maybe Zooropa or something.
I thought War was really great. I like Under the Blood Red. What is it? Under a Blood Red Sky, the live EP.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Yeah. Okay, English Settlement is actually, I think, my favorite XTC album. I'm going to put that in S tier.
You and a lot of people.
Yeah, this to me is their London Calling, right? It's sprawling, it's long,
Sure.
It's got lots of sonic variety and songwriting variety.
There's not a bad track on it.
Not a bad track on it.
No.
And I actually totally agree with you on Moomer, which I'm now pronouncing correctly.
I don't know why people give it a bad rap.
I agree with you. I really, really like that record.
It's not English Settlement. It's not Black Sea.
Right.
All these records have their own thing, but it's a little bit more laid back, a little bit more acoustic. But Great Fire, gee, many Christmas. That's a great track. I don't know. I have no problems with that record at all.
I totally agree. And I actually really love the production on it.
Yeah.
Especially for a 1983 record.
Was that Steve Nye? Who produced that?
Let me check it out. I can get that for you right
We
now.
only had a way to look this stuff up.
Do you ever use Rate Your Music, by the way?
No, not really.
Oh. If there's anything I can introduce you to, that would be, outside of Animal Collective, the website.
Animal Collective, Rate Your Music. Got it. Writing it down.
Rate Your Music is just an amazing website to find
A wealth of knowledge.
It's just find things.
I probably have seen it. I just don't, remember.
Yeah. But it's, for me at least, it's great to find music that is related to other music I love. Where I'm like, oh damn, I've never heard of that, and then I check it out and it blows my mind. I find it's more likely that that's going to happen from Rate Your Music, for example, than like Spotify, the Spotify algorithm. So where am I? Okay, yeah, Moomer
The
is
settlement. Well, I
Moomer,
guess.
and then okay, Big Express is next. I'm gonna use another Martin Popoff term here. Peaks and Valleys album. I think this is a Peaks and
Oh.
Valleys album. It's got some of my favorite songs, but then there's some songs which I actually do skip. But shake you
Shake your donkey.
donkey.
Wait,
It's
it's
so-
Shake Your Ass. I love it. I love the. It's like
Yeah.
a dad joke. It's like a
yeah.
built-in dad joke song. Wake up and shake your. It took me a second to
It's
like
hard
get
to say
it.
though.
Wake up and shake your donkey, and then I was like, it doesn't make sense to me. And I was like, oh, a donkey's an ass.
It's an
Oh,
ass, yeah.
okay. But it was very dad joke.
That song is super proto Animal Collective, where I was like, damn. And then I go for Skylarking. I'm gonna put it at the top of A tier. I love this album. I love the production. There's a couple songs I'm not into. I don't really like Big Day. I usually skip that one. Actually, that might be the only song I don't like.
I don't skip anything on it.
I love Mermaid Smiled, Dying, Sacrificial Bonfire. The Meeting Place is my favorite song on the album. I just love that song. I love that. That to me is what I like about 80s production, actually. Like if you're going to make it 80s sounding, that's what I like from the 80s. Next up, we got Oranges and Lemons. I pretty much completely concur with what you were saying. I think I'm going to put it a top C tier, maybe bottom. I might move it to bottom B. It's just a lesser Skylarking. To me, it's like the same album with worse songs. It's still good, but the production is more fussy and the songs are not as good. So I'm left with just a worse version of Skylarking.
And it's a long album. Maybe if they would have cut it down a little bit.
Oh,
That might have helped.
100%. If they cut it down, there is an 8.5 out of 10 album in there. It's just too much blazing harmonica for me.
The damn harmonica again. Damn it.
And then
I'm not going to ask you what you think about the Jay Giles band, for God's sakes. I'm not going to even ask you about the Jay Giles band.
not for me. Not for me.
It's pretty safe to assume for me, if there's
And
a
I'm not
harmonica
even going to
involved,
ask you at all.
it's not good. You know the only time I will allow a harmonica?
Go for it. Yeah.
New York Dolls.
Also produced by
Oh,
Todd
okay.
Rundgren.
And that's why, because you got Todd, you got a harmonica, and you got good platform shoes. I'll allow it, but that is the only time that I will allow the harmonica. To be
I
with
like
us.
that. I think I think you're spot on that. Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm not. It's not just only aggressive music. I like other things too. So, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay, and then so Non-Such I put bottom C tier. Grant, don't hate me. Please don't hate me, but I am not a fan of Apple Venus.
Well,
It just is what it is. I tried. Here's what I'll say that is
you're
positive
like
of-
other people.
Yeah,
A lot of your ranking isn't very contrarian.
you don't think so?
So, no.
Oh, I thought most people don't really like their first two records.
Well, no, that's pretty normal. But
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
the
part
rest
of it is
of
normal.
it, yeah, looks about right.
I agree with you that like the songwriting is obviously the craft. I recognize the craft is excellent. I just, for whatever reason, don't connect with it. And I think I
Yeah, I
like
get it.
Volume 2 a little better.
That's fine.
And I know. But I put nothing. You're right. There is no bad XTC album. All my shit's between S tier and C tier. So
Yeah.
there we go. Hey,
Where would you put the Dukes just for giggles?
I'd put them in the B tier like you did. Yeah, same place.